Okay, cool.
Okay, first,
I'm recording as well.
I need permission to record. Can I have it again?
Very nice.
hold on, more. Yeah, you get permission.
Yay, thank you. All right, I'm
Okay,
recording.
so this actually begins. So first question: to what extent do we need to make changes to the way we live our lives?
Who wants to answer first?
Um, I will answer by saying that, duh, of course we need to make changes to the way we live our lives. This right here is an example of how we need to make changes to live our lives as a result of this pandemic.
No, this is more referring to climate change. Like talk about like should we like this isn't necessarily about coronavirus, but
This is about the climate change?
yeah,
Okay. Oh, that's what the question was referring to. All right.
I thought it was also I thought that it was also referring to COVID-19.
no, it's climate.
Well, I'm very glad that it is climate change, because if it were in reference to COVID-19, then it would be the most obvious question answer.
How about just in general? How about I need to wake up earlier?
No, just like Dave, it's like no, just talk about like how people should change their lifestyle. Like talk about like different types of ways. That's what's referring to.
Well,
I think it's good to wake up earlier. It's good to brush your teeth.
No, Davis.
what?
Climate. No, guys, it's talking about climate change. Like,
Got it.
do you think we should change our lives, such as like land use, like etc., or do you think like the Earth is fine as it is? Like, do you think our lifestyle will further harm Earth, or will it benefit Earth?
Obviously, it's not going to benefit Earth.
How come? Like, how come? Why do you think we need to change?
I think that I think that it would be pretty neat if we changed, but I don't think that we're going to, and I don't think it's really like. I think that the only way to get change in a positive direction is to have the collective unit of humanity be that change, and the only way to do that is to go for the thing that everybody unanimously wants, and that's financial stability and the economy as a whole. And so I think the way to best encourage actual real change in terms of climate change is to do it through the economy.
I agree, and I think that a better question is how do we change the way we live our lives? Because clearly the way we're going and the way we're acting right now is not going to benefit us at all in the next couple of decades. And again, like David said, the only foreseeable way that is plausible to fix that is through economic incentive, because that's the only way anything really gets done.
Okay, so this is what my answer is. So it's like I say to a more greater extent, but since I play the devil's advocate, I want to do like to a lesser extent, because there's two people that says that we need to do, especially Anthony Watts from the previous video. He's like a good example. It's like we have global warming, no doubt about it, but it may not be as bad as we thought, because there are other contributing factors they want to apply. And then he later justifies talking about policy, taxes, how like government control. But I don't want to get too much and get into it. But really, what he's saying though, like he's not entirely wrong. There's some truth to his statement, especially when he talks about the other contributing factors, because some of the two factors, like besides man-made, like even though a lot of it's man-made, there's two like natural, just the albedo effect and the greenhouse gas effect. Like these are the natural ones, and here's like the two natural factors that cause it. But then there's other person, says Trump, who said, I don't know that's man-made. It's freezing New York. What the hell is global warming? From this statement, he's kind of like, it's fine as it is. It'll be beneficial to global warming, considering he thinks that like it'll like make the living life easier in New York, considering how cold it is, and the fact like usually like if you look at a Earth, like a map of global map of Earth, and you see like in relative proximity of how like that's proximity like relative location of where it's located. New York would be located like New York would be located more the upper hemisphere, like where like it's kind of close to Arctic, but not like super close. While like there's two other people that kind of like argue like against it, like but in the like one of my counters, I say like Michael Manning talks about how this unprecedented heat like will drastically cause unprecedented bushfires. It's been like really destructive, and the koalas are losing their habitat. The idea of bushfires getting worse isn't far off from happening. If there's more cooler water, then there's like less humidity and stuff like that. And then like the how it talks about the diet pools getting stronger. And then like additionally, I was reading a Standard Co article with the koala bears, and the Austrian wildfire talks about koala bears are dying and it can relate to deforestation, which can further cause like a positive feedback loop because that causes increase of climate change because of deforestation. The reason why I say this is because like deforestation is like it's kind of similar to like land use. Like one of the factors like it's kind of similar to would be like land use, considering like
Yaseen,
yeah.
you've gone on like 5 different points.
Yeah,
So
yes.
like you've gone on like 5 different tangents. So let's start from the beginning. First of all, I think it's a really stupid idea to go on the blame game, like who's responsible or what is responsible. The fact is that mankind's involvement in global climate change is at this point all but undeniable. Like there's from a scientific standpoint, from a statistic standpoint, I mean, we've seen this all pass before we had to do any of this. Like man-made climate or man-made influences to climate change are undeniable at this point. And so, on our part, it's important to figure out what we need to do to fix it, and not who to blame.
No, like I don't know, like the reason why I'm mentioning is the fact that it kind of talks about like why it's kind of more justification why we need to like really change stuff like that, especially when it comes to like the environment that's happening. That's what I try to do. Like even though I'm just saying this stuff, it's more of a justification of like why we kind of need change because like some people say like some people like want to justify the fact like oh like some areas could benefit from it while like we feel like we're fine as it is even the fact that we need to like even in my harm like living is some aspect while some people say we need to kind of like change because of the fact like because like if we continue going further down this path like natural disasters like this fire in Australia like kind of getting harder. Okay, never mind.
I'm gonna go to the next question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. We spent
Okay.
quite a bit of time on this.
Okay, I'm just posting them for myself because I did it last time, but then
Yeah.
I left and joined.
Okay.
So the thing that I was telling you, I had an actually cool thing that I learned is from the second question. To what extent is COVID-19 or other diseases the result of climate change or global warming? I want your guys' take on that before I tangent.
Well, from what I know, and I'm sure. I mean, Davis has something to share, so clearly he knows more than I do. But from what I can tell so far, that the effects like the extent to which the pandemic is the result of climate change and global warming is rather minimal. Like from what I can tell, it's pretty unrelated.
What about you, Yaseen?
So I think when it talks about like its result of climate change and global warming, I say two more greater seg, but I want to like talk about like two. I'm not gonna go. I have so much, but I'm gonna focus on 2 or 3 aspects. First, we talk about how COVID-19 is kind of result of climate change because like climate change and like global climate change because of the fact like there's like since some of the animals are getting like deforestation, right? And like the reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes like if the animals like lose their habitats, they're gonna have to get closer to humans. When you do that, their microbes will do like transfer. Even though many people say that animals like kind of cause like such a bad cause COVID-19, there's one source that's saying like the microbes are really harmless. And the reason why is because like they get close and sometimes they transfer over like these benign microbes, as one states, it transfer to like harmful like pathogens, and then some people like such as like Al Gore like kind of talks about how global warming is also like kind of increasing like it results of climate like global warming because the fact like we're seeing microbial diseases from the top tropics spread to the higher latitudes. The transportation has a lot to do with this because as it keeps on getting warmer, since like it's getting warmer overall, many like especially mosquitoes like live in like warm like tropical areas. If the northern area is getting warmer, of course you're gonna travel even more north. And then like
I have a couple of counterpoints I'd
Yeah,
like to
go ahead.
mention. First of all, deforestation is a man-made environmental impact and has little to do with climate change. Well, I mean, yes, deforestation has a lot to do with climate change, but as a cause, not an effect. So to say that deforestation and the removal of animal habitats is, with reference to climate change, the cause of COVID-19 is fallacious. And second, and to your second point about what was it? It was mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, coronavirus isn't transferred via mosquito.
No, like I was mentioning mosquitoes because like as other case of it, I'm not like saying it was caused by mosquitoes.
Well,
It's
yeah,
like
sure. Some diseases can be. I'm sure many diseases could be infected by the migration patterns of mosquitoes with respect to climate change. However, with specific specific reference to COVID-19, I don't think that's the case.
I was gonna say basically what Yaseen said, which I thought it was really cool, but one of the things that was more like one of the things that stood out to me specifically was the fact that bats are being affected by global warming, and they are migrating more north and more south. And so that fact, and this is like, this was a bigger, most of these articles that I found were written in 2013 or 2016. And it's just, and most of them are warning. Most of them are saying, hey, this is a thing that could potentially be absolutely detrimental to mankind. So like keep your eyes out for bats because they're actually known for carrying diseases and that are specifically susceptible to humans. And so it was really cool the fact that it was said in the past as a warning, and bats actually did migrate, and it's theorized, but there's no concrete evidence because nobody at the scene of the first conception of human COVID-19 was recording or was like had a microscope out looking at everything. But it is theorized that the first transfer to humans of COVID-19 was happened in a seafood market in China. And so it also happens that bats are more concentrated in the same area in China where that happened. And that is on the south to east, like kind of, if China is this shape and Japan is over here, then it's like it's this chunk of China up towards Japan in the bottom and east side of China. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you make a good point. I can't argue with that. So I guess we'll have to say to some extent.
Yeah, like I was very confused by the question at first because I was like, how does COVID-19 global warming? That doesn't, it doesn't have anything. And then I looked it up and it was like, bats moved because of climate change and that caused COVID. So anyway,
what was that movie that was like about a horrible pandemic and like at the end it was revealed because like a bat was eating something and then it fell into a pig pen and the pig ate it and then the butcher didn't wash his hands.
Ooh, I don't know, but I want to see it now.
I can't remember what movie it was, but I'll figure it out later. Anyway, we should probably move on.
So just like essentially like the last question, and the thing is like even though it's like kind of fourth question, should we be optimistic? I feel like you can tie like essentially like it's part of the third one. So anyways, to what extent are practical solutions available to the climate change issues? Should we be optimistic? So which one do we want to start?
I suppose we should start with the third question.
I know, no, I'm talking about which one wants to begin the conversation.
I'll do it.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So I think that practical solutions, like I said earlier, are going to be economically incentivized. I think that's just a fact. Like the only way to get a mass amount of people to do something is through money and economic incentive. And I think that one of the bigger, ever since I had the project to do solar and ESS, now I've been like a huge proponent of solar energy because I find it so cool. Passive solar energy, just gaining energy from the sun, is what it's like. It's more of a down payment. Like you are just this chunk of money is paid now, and then over time you get more money. And so at a certain point, this is like what was taught in like 7th grade math. Like it's not very hard to comprehend the fact that if you spend a large amount of money at first, eventually you're going to make it back and then get more if that thing still exists. So I think that solar energy is not only green but is sustainable, and that most energy sources that are sustainable right now also happen to be green. And that's because sources that are not green are generally fossil fuels, and fossil fuels are entirely limited. They will go out.
I mean, at some point.
At some point, it has been said, oh, it's going to be this year. It's going to be this year. But I'm not going to say when, but I'm just saying eventually in the future.
They are finite.
Yeah, it is finite. It's finite. That's the word.
Yeah. I agree. So you talked about how you're a huge proponent of solar as a result of our investigation. I have become a bit of a nut for hydrogen fuel.
Have you finished making it?
No, I don't have enough money to buy things anymore.
Dang it.
Because I'm out of a job. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of research to prepare for the day. But in my research, I figured out like there already is a lot of there already is a lot of research and money going into creating these economic incentives. So in the specific case of hydrogen fuel and hydrogen fuel cell technology, the biggest, like the most important issue that's been going on with hydrogen fuel energy, it has been its excessive use of platinum. Like, well, not excessive, but like necessarily excessive, because platinum is the best known catalyst for oxygen reduction reactions, which is the process that produces energy in a hydrogen fuel cell. And so, like, there have been efforts to try and come up with reduced platinum or no platinum catalysts that can match the efficiency of platinum, of pure platinum. And so far, they've been getting nearly nowhere, but they're working on it. And so, but I've gone off a bit of, I digress. I agree with Davis that the only practical solutions are those that are economically viable.
So like
at this point, none of them are.
So I would like to make a point. So like I said, to more greater extent, and then like we should be optimists, because like the people who are saying this are coming from people who are the people who are like going kind of crazy and concerned, but like these are people that like at the same time have some optimism. They're more of the eco and the anthropocentric type of views. So this is one of the ecocentrics. It talks about like from coveringclimatenow.org. It talks about like recent peer-reviewed science has concluded that protecting the land and human rights of indigenous people who occupy forest, blah, 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 is the best way to keep the forest standing, which in turn reduces global warming biodiversity loss. So it's some people are saying like they want to like, I don't know, like prevent more deforestation, which I can see. But I feel like when it comes to practicality, like even though it's kind of contradictory, I would say it's like more of a lesser extent. And then like this is like more of a realistic one, and it comes from like everyone's famous favorite scientist, Bill Nye the Science Guy. In one of the National Geographic video, he mentioned like how people aren't self-esteem that, and then like in order to like kind of reduce the effects and like how we should optimistic, he said we should reuse and recycle, turn off electronics when not using them, eat less meat, eat more vegetables, walk or take public transportation. Like that's how like we like that's how he said it, and then it kind of has the fact that we should be more optimistic because like there's stuff we can do on a daily basis rather than like, oh, we need to like focus so much on collective actions. Like we individual can take action. And finally, Al Gore, like when it's kind of similar to what you guys were talking about when it said solar and wind, but he said like especially for wind, it's like he's like optimistic about with wind with solar, the fact that like fact that there's like I don't know, they surpassed the projection like 58 times, and then like it was like 1 gigawatt like whatever like by 2010, and now like he admitted like business have started to notice this, and like cheaper solicitation rates are rising, and like a lot more like solar energy is gonna like happen more often, and then like when it comes to wind, like he talks about an exponential curve similar to solar, how it keeps on increasing, and in addition he talks about how the fact like the costs for both solar and wind are decreasing. And then one example he talks about is Germany, an industrial powerhouse with the climate not different from Vancouver's. It's like, and he talks about how like 81% of it's like from renewable energies, mainly solar and wind. And they also mentioned, finally, he mentioned the fact that a lot of countries are getting more than half an average basis. In order to tie it to the last part, how you should be optimistic, yes, because as you can see below, and the fact that they've been being like going over their expected goals by that many times, there's like a lot of optimism in the fact like, oh, we should like, oh, this is good news. We should like be careful with these practical solutions.
I think we're over
Um,
time.
Well, it's all right. It's fine.
Okay.
I agree that we should be optimistic because the only way we're ever going to get anything done for the positive is if we are optimistic about our chances. Like, if there's any degree of pessimism or apathy about climate change issues, then nothing's going to get done, and there really would be no hope. So I think optimism is really the only way forward. And that's why that's part of the reason why I subscribe to the technocentric view, because it's the most optimistic. Like
Yes.
technology is constantly improving, and at this rate, we will have the ability to fix any mistake that we make.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Like,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Well, we've gotten through all the questions at this point. Any final words?
Is that a fractured lightsaber or a lava lamp behind you?
That is the reflection of light through my window on the wall.
All right. That's my only question.
There's a tree right outside my window.